Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we'll be discussing about DevOps. Have you ever felt like software updates take forever to arrive? What if I told you there's a way to make it all faster, smoother and way more exciting? Imagine a world where teams work together like superheroes, making software updates happen in the blink of an eye. That's what DevOps does. So, in this video, we are going to dive into some awesome word of DevOps, a cool way of making software that's fast, fun, and super reliable. So, let's get into it and let's unravel the secrets of DevOps together. So, what we will be discussing today, the main contents of today's video will be what is DevOps, why do we need DevOps, and what is the traditional software release lifecycle, and how can we overcome the challenges that is being faced in the software release cycle by using DevOps. So, we will be discussing all these things in today's video. So, stay tuned. So, first question is what is DevOps? So, let me give you a very easy example in order to understand what is DevOps. So, imagine you are making a cake with a team. In the past, the person baking the cake was known as developers who would make the batter and hand it over to another person to bake it. So the person to whom the cake was being handed over, the batter was handed over was the operations team. So, but sometimes the baker, the operations team, didn't know if the oven was hot enough or if the cake was turning out right. So, they didn't know that everything after the deployment is going to be done smoothly, and if the deployment which is being done on a particular platform is going to be smooth or not. So, DevOps is like having both the baker and the person handling the oven work together. They talk, plan, and bake the cake as a team. So, development and operations team they work together. They use the tools to check if the cake is baking properly and adjust things accordingly if needed. So, in tech terms, DevOps means developers and operations work together closely. They use tools and teamwork to build and deliver software faster, making sure it's highly available and it works perfectly for the users. It's like a teamwork in the kitchen, but for making a software instead of making a cake. So, that is what the DevOps is at a higher level. And if we try to understand DevOps from a bookish language, then DevOps is basically a methodology that brings software development and IT operations teams together, and they work together and help in improving the collaboration efficiency, and they perform the task of continuous integration and continuous delivery. So DevOps basically serves as a set of practices to deliver high quality software faster. So, a simplified software release process. Let's try to understand what was a simplified software release process earlier, how the software was being released. So, in a typical software release process, developers will develop the code, build the code, and it will be tested by the QAs or testing team, and then the product will be released in the production. So, that is what a typical production flow looks like. However, as the software grows and the new features are added to the software, we want those features to be accessible to the end users as soon as possible. So that means we want the features to be released and it has to be released in a faster release cycle. And there are several new changes that needs to be added to the application, and these changes must be versioned. So the code changes must be versioned, otherwise there will be a lot of chaos. So there is an introduction of a concept known as versioning, software versioning. So it can be defined in the form like 1.2.3, where 1 can be the major changes or major releases, 2 can indicate as the minor changes, minor releases, so it can be any number, and then 3, which is the last digit, it could be the bug fixes or the patching number, which increments depending on the bug fixes or patching that is being done in that major and minor release. So these changes or features are implemented again and again, so it has become a cycle where you have to code, you have to implement, and then you have to test, then you have to build, and then you have to deploy, and then you have to monitor. So this is like a continuous cycle that goes on. And over here, the DevOps, it ensures that the process runs automatically in an automated fashion and the code is delivered with minimum bugs and with a high quality of code. So basically, what happens is, in the case of DevOps, we implement continuous integration and continuous deployment cycle. So in continuous integration, there will be source code which has to be pushed to a repository. Let's say we have created a repository on GitHub. The code is being pushed over there, and once the pull request has been raised and the code is being merged, then continuous integration comes into play, and it will look that okay, the code changes are being done by the developer and it has been reviewed by the architect or a team lead. Once the code changes are approved and they are being merged, after that the build or the testing of the application takes place. So before the build, the testing of the application takes place. So basically, unit tests or integration tests are being executed. So we can build a Jenkins pipeline. So Jenkins is a tool which helps in building this pipeline. So it is integrated with GitHub. So once the changes are being the pull request has been raised on the GitHub, Jenkins will be notified that there are changes that are being pushed by the developer. So it will start building the code, and it will start running the unit test cases. So once these unit test cases or integration test cases are being executed successfully, then the build is being done, and the build, when the build becomes successful, then these changes are being deployed. And once the deployment is on the server or on the on any platform is being done, then these changes are to be monitored continuously to make sure that there are not any existing bugs. And if there are any bugs or any changes that needs to be done, it has to be fixed up. So that is something that has to be done. So this is a continuous process which helps in improving the software's quality, and it which helps in reducing the number of bugs that are being introduced in the application. So basically, this cycle goes on, and DevOps ensures that the process runs automatically in an automated fashion, and the code is delivered with minimum bugs, which improves the code quality. So basically, why do we need DevOps? We need DevOps. The first point is because of faster delivery. So DevOps streamlines the software development life cycles, enables rapid and frequent releases. It reduces time to market for new features and enhancement, facilitating faster responses to customer needs. Then the second point could be it enhances the quality of the life cycle or the process that is being followed by the software development and the operations team. So DevOps practices such as automation, continuous integration, and testing, it improves the software quality overall, and it reduces errors, it enhances reliability, and ensures a more consistent user experience. Then third reason why we should implement DevOps is efficient resource utilization. So DevOps principles encourage efficient use of resources through automation and infrastructure optimization. It leads to cost savings and better resource utilization. Then there could be reasons such as process automation. We are actually automating the complete process, the complete pipeline on different environments. Let's say we are automating the pipeline on dev environment, staging environment, and then the code is being deployed on the production environment once all the tests are being passed. And if any bug or any issue exists, any of our unit test cases fails, then the developer is being intimated that this build has been failed, and they have to again look into the code and they have to fix the bug before releasing the code into the production. So all this is being done before releasing the code into the production. So it basically so DevOps is basically essential for modern software development processes, and as it aligns to development operations and business objectives. Now, what are the challenges that DevOps solves? So, DevOps actually solves a numerous challenges encountered in traditional software development and operations practices. So, first challenge that DevOps solves is slow deployment cycles. So, DevOps enables faster and more frequent deployments through automation, CI/CD pipelines, and agile practices, reducing time to market for new features. Then, second is communication gaps. So, DevOps promotes collaboration and shared responsibilities between development, operations, and other teams, therefore, minimizing the communication gaps, and it enhances the collaboration between different teams. Manual processes and errors. So, earlier, there was a manual process that was being introduced in the software development lifecycle, but with the introduction of DevOps, it actually automated the processes. It reduced the number of manual tasks and it minimized the human errors, which led to the reliable software developments and releases. And then isolated development and operations. So um, earlier the development and operations, they used to work separately, and they were not meeting at one point, and due to which there was a certain friction between both of these teams. So that has been reduced with the introduction of DevOps breaks down the silos between development and operations teams, fostering a culture of shared goals and responsibilities. Then earlier there was inadequate testing. Nowadays, with the CI/CD pipelines and with the introduction of continuous integration and continuous deployment pipelines, continuous testing is also being done. Unit test cases are being executed uh, before the build is being done, in order to make sure that the test cases are passing successfully. And if the test cases fail, then developer has been intimated that the test cases have been failed, and now they have to look into the code, what is wrong with the code, why the test cases have not executed. So this has led to improved software quality and reducing the bugs in production. So that's a wrap on our journey through the exciting world of DevOps. We have uncovered the magic behind faster software releases, smoother teamworks, and DevOps is a superhero of modern tech. So remember, DevOps isn't just about tools and text, it's about people working together to make software better and faster for everyone. So development and operations team, they are working together in order to make sure that the software is being released successfully and in a fast paced environment. So if you have got any questions or want to explore more about DevOps, feel free to drop a comment below. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to stay tuned for more tech adventures. Thank you. Bye bye.